Okay, good morning. TECH1 asked for an energizing opening of day 3, so that was the energy right there. I hope everyone is energized and ready to go. Amitai, זהו, עשינו, מי פותח את הבית הנכון? Thank you very much for having us. Truthfully, the Boeing company would probably not be here if it weren't for the invitation. We are not very outgoing in the public engagements, so thank you for pulling us out of our comfort zone and inviting us. I'm not here to sell anything to anybody. I am here to try and inform you on what it's like working with a prime. Quick show of hands, who knows what a prime means and what is a prime? Okay? During dinner last night, I realized I need to go back a stage, so I added a fun slide of what is a prime, and that's for you, Roy. Thank you very much for educating the speaker. And then, if you are either a startup or a VC, we're going to share some tips and tricks for how to engage with us, means of engagement that are going to be meaningful and truly helpful to help you when and if you want to work with Boeing. So, a little bit about Boeing in Israel. Let's stay in our little territory of geography here. 77 years of operations in the country. We are proud to serve both the Israeli Air Force, Elal. Elal is a very important customer, all Boeing fleet. There are not many fleets around the world which are truly all still with one carrier. We've been doing business here with suppliers in the country with an annual spend of roughly $300 million a year. So, again, pretty significant, and I will humbly say that I'm particularly proud of this number during the past year. Many multinationals have backed out, have left Israel. Boeing is doubling down on Israel, and you'll learn a little bit more about our activities in the next couple of slides. A quick history of Boeing in Israel here. I purposely left it off at 2022 because the last 2 years have just been truly a rocket ship of activities. We have F-15s, tanker aircraft, JDAMs, Apache, just so many different, El Al with its largest order to date. So it kind of puts into perspective the last 2 years alone, all of our activity in Israel for the past 75 years. I'm going to call out here some really fun parts. We have a world record on number of passengers on a single flight, 747. This was Mivtza Shlomo from Addis Ababa. In fact, this is also one of the only known flights where it departed with less passengers than landed. Who knows to explain how that happened? We had 8 kids, 8 babies born on that flight. So that was a world record and some extra bonus for growth on the flight. Apart from that, we're very proud to also have taken part in the development of Aero 3, Aero 2, Aero 3, which is today helping safeguard all of us from the threats from Houthis and from Iran. Okay, so a prime. What is this? What is a prime? What does a prime mean? And Roy, thank you very much for calling this out for me during dinner last night. It is not Optimus Prime, although my son loves Optimus Prime, and I think this would be a great job if it was. A prime is the prime contractor, which is ultimately responsible for completing a project. We are the throat to choke. The customer which buys something from us will hold us accountable for a fault that we may have gotten from our supply chain. Tier 4, Tier 5, a screw came from here, a different part came from there. It doesn't matter, the customer, you, the Boeing company, delivered it to me, it's your problem. And that is really the easiest and quickest way of explaining what a prime is. Tip of the iceberg, tip of the pyramid, no one else in front of the customer, and you represent all the supply chain beneath you and behind you. So, we are a prime, we sell to the US government, we sell to air forces, and we are held accountable for the supply chain behind us. And put that into context for a second when you're thinking about a small startup which wants to work with the government or work with large customers that cannot go on their own. Typically, they will go through a prime contract and get the access to the customer that way. There are a few cases where we have been a sub. That's pretty creative when that happens, and we know how to do that if needed, but in most cases, the Boeing company is the prime. Okay, Amitai, now this is what you asked me to talk about. How do we really bridge this gap between the small startups and the OEM? I will say that this is probably true not just for the Boeing company, but for many other OEMs and companies out there that work with smaller startups. We're not built for that. In fact, we are almost built to reject that. We are risk averse. We do not want to take any extra risk where we don't need to. We like stability, known fixed price contracts, having supply chain working as it needs to, and bringing a small startup which has a runway for 6 months or 1 year ahead into that prime world is not something that we typically like to do. So, real quick, we're going to give you 6 tips, 6 paths to engagement. This is true for the Boeing company. I'm sure it's true for a bunch of other companies. Starting from small pretty much to big. So I'm going to try and not leave you with some known facts, but some in-between commentary here that will help you either as a startup and or as a VC that is thinking about investing in a startup and wondering where and how does that startup grow in its journey and what are their paths to an exit in this case. Starting with the very bottom of the food chain, not the food chain, but the bottom, the beginners, the accelerator program. This is really aimed at the founder, the founders that have an idea, don't yet have a product, don't yet know exactly what their product market fit is, but are interested in gaining some traction, in this case with the Boeing company. Give us a mentorship, let us know if we pivot our product this way or that way would be more applicable or less applicable to the Boeing company. And we have over 50 companies that have gone through the accelerator. I think single digit, don't hold me accountable, somewhere between 7 or 8 that are now in the Boeing catalog and a supplier to the Boeing company. We have a Windows error. In that case, this is really the moonshot factory, if you will, taking a high risk on a small startup that's just beginning its journey. Next, we move to the ventures. I put this fun picture of Brian and myself because everyone asks, who is the ventures team? How do we find them? How do we get to them? Here's a picture. If you see this guy, if you're a startup, go chase him down and ask him for money. This is obviously going from the accelerator now to the VC territory. Strategic capital, we are looking at investing in companies that we have some extra skin in the game through the equity investment. So perhaps they are an automotive-focused company, and in order to get them to go to aerospace, being a customer is not enough. Being a board member, influencing that company's future is something that we would then be a little bit more keen to do. More advantages of being a portfolio company is that you have access to the Boeing company. This is unfair access to the Boeing company. This is not business development for startup X or startup Y. This is business development for our very own investments, and as you can imagine, receive some accelerated and extra attention in that capacity. I'll call out the last line there. Typically, Series A is our sweet spot. We like to invest in companies that have some proven technology, something that already works, and give them an aerospace mentorship and take their product and make it a little bit more relevant to our needs or to our customer needs. Okay, now if you've managed to go through the accelerator, you actually became a portfolio company through our CVC engagement, where are you going? What's going to happen to you? So in one case, you may go to path number 4, which we'll get to in a minute, M&A. That's everyone's dream. Or in another case, in a more realistic case, you are now becoming a supplier. You're no longer a startup. Congratulations, you are now a company. And I think that's something that a lot of companies are having a problem with that transition. They don't appreciate that they're no longer that cute startup that just started a few months ago. You're now a company. You have a contract for 5 years. You have to deliver on it. You're moving from growth to execution. If we did our part right in the innovation pathway, we have created a vetted supplier for the Boeing company. We're very proud to support many suppliers here in Israel. There's a picture of Idon Nehushtan standing in one of our sites with our supply chain here in Israel. And just to double click on that, during the war, during the last year, even when our factory was hit by a drone from Hezbollah, always delivered, never late, quality impeccable, and just really, really very proud moment for all of us in Israel that continues to deliver during time of conflict and in these incredible times. All right, so if you are now a startup that has gone, oh, I left academia, excuse me. There's another fun one which I've been spending a lot of time during the past year on. It's our academia engagements. When do we engage academia? Typically when we can't find what we're looking for in the market. We need something pretty niche. It's deep tech. It's in a category that doesn't exist yet. That's when we will engage academia. We have 2 examples here in Israel. One is announced, one we're going to announce hopefully in Cyber Week next month, assuming our guests from abroad can come to Israel. We have launched a sustainable aviation fuel R&D center with the TECH1. We're very, very proud of that. This is, just to put this into perspective, the results of this research will probably only be implemented in 2050. So think about that for a second. You are replacing the refinery, the delivery of that fuel, all the way from the way that we produce it to the way that we ingest it on an airplane, making sure that that fuel is safe and doesn't harm performance. It's a major, major endeavor to undergo, and we're very proud to have a small piece in Israel in this crazy journey, and hopefully our children will fly on greener, less emitting airplanes in the future. The next center that we've launched just a couple of months ago is focused on cybersecurity for aviation. I'll let that sink in for a second. Cybersecurity, everyone knows, Israel is fantastic. Aviation cybersecurity, this is a very closed garden. We don't open this, we don't share this. This is nation state, this is not commercial startups that are looking to build a business around aviation. And through a lot of hard work and a lot of convincing, we finally brought the Boeing company to Israel and found a way to engage with some brilliant minds and the best of our hackers. There's no better way of saying it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, for the purpose of safe guarding our products. Okay, so I go back to you were in the accelerator program, you went through the VC, you're a supplier. What else could happen if not the supplier route? This is the Eilat Kashra moment, and the tagline I would put here really is, don't call us, we call you. Every M&A deal that I've been part of and saw happening did not start with, hey, we have a company we'd like for you to look at. Why don't you take a look and tell us if you want to acquire them? This typically happens in the very closed doors of the Boeing company through strategic thought processes. Where is our competitive landscape? Where are our customers? What's happening in the arena around us? And we will very selectively decide if and when to go through an M&A with a certain company. This could happen to a portfolio company, and this could happen to a company that we've never had any business with to date, as long as we identify something that's very unique that we have and need from them. Okay, the last one, industrial participation, offset, or in the very simple Hebrew terminology, rechesh gomlin. This is an area that during the last year, in particular of October 7, we're very proud to have doubled down on all of our investments in Israel through the offset scheme as well, working with the Israeli government, working with supply chain here in country, academia. I mentioned the 2 R&D centers. What I did not mention is 77 years of history no R&D centers to date in 77 years. Both of them opened up last year, not through an acquisition of a startup like normally happens, not through some unorganic. This was very organic, very methodical, and the Boeing company is very happy and proud to take part in Israel's challenging years. Okay, and time is over, so I'm on the last slide. Look, there is no silver bullet. I don't have a playbook for you of, here it is, just follow this breadcrumb path and you'll get to an M&A. Every company I've worked with has gone a different route, has had a different champion, has gone up and down, left and right. But the key is really to have a focus on something that we have as a pain point. We need your help to solve. Otherwise, why are we even talking? We can do it on our own. Thank you very much. You can do it faster, better, cheaper. And not less importantly, our customer. Our customer has a need that they need solved. We don't have that within our house today. We need outside support. That's when you really need to call in and shine. Solving real problems, not an imaginative problem. What if, what could happen in 10 years from now, if and when? Leave that for the accelerator and the early VC engagement. But if you have something that is at a high TRL, technology readiness level, and ready for engagement with the Boeing company, I invite you to come and speak with us. If you are just looking for ideas or don't know exactly if your product is a good fit or not, I still invite you to come talk with us. We are approachable. I'm available on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, wherever you'd like, and I'll leave you with some optimism for the future. I really think that this is a pivotal time for us, the Boeing company and Israel. We have a lot of great opportunities, great challenges, and most importantly, motivation. So I was Ayal, thank you very much, and come speak with us.